Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop for 10 more minutes of F-16 fixing action. Alright, I thought I'd show you guys how I found these air leaks, okay? Some of them small air leaks can be really hard to find. How I ended up finding that one on that air cylinder and another real small one I had. Guess what it was? Now this was a real slow one. Bam, one of my T's. And believe it or not, everything was on this orange line, even this T. Because I didn't find this T until after I replaced it with that red line. And the red line's what I used to replace this. But it still had a slow leak in it. People, there ain't no reason why you can't get these gear to not leak at all, you know. And I found the best way to do it is this: separate them from the box. See, this is my landing gear box, okay? Now I clipped them to where I could see the colors, so real easy. And I already replaced the orange one with that transparent purple one that I used for the gear. I like that transparent color. I just feel safer with it than the solid colors. I don't know, I've never really had line split like that. I don't know if this was what was on the jet when I got it. And you know, I've never had airline split like that. I've never seen it. I don't know if anyone else out there had any issues that Saturday, but it was hot, man. These planes were sitting on the pavement. If you did that place, people start getting there on the Monday before, you know. And if you ain't there by Tuesday, Wednesday, you ain't getting a good spot under the. They got a great big old shelter. And then, you know, we got a 12 by 12 tent, but it was so hot, and you got to move your chairs so much. It was hard for just us to stay in the shade. You know, and a lot of other people had their jets sitting in the sun, and I don't know, but that's what was happening. It all happened on this orange line and a T. But, okay, time to get serious. Enough rambling, okay? So I just take my air compressor here, and I put me this is actually a disconnect, but I use it so I can get it fitting on both sides. And this is the air hose that puts the gear down and locked. This is the one I had all the issues with. But just go ahead and hook it up like that. Then you can come over here to your compressor. This is a, man, I got this is a starting box, okay? And I got this at Walmart a long time ago. And man, I love this thing. It's got the light. It's actually got an inverter in it to where I can charge a cell phone or my camera at the flying field without any electricity. Got the compressor and cell phone charger, battery outlets, and the dang jump cables disconnect. This is the only one I've ever seen where the jumper cables connect. But then I take me one of these basketball filler tubes, slip the airline over it, and just stick it in there so I can steal air a tire with it. You know, and so then you just come in here to pump it up. You can sit there and watch that. Oh, it's got some glare on it. But you can sit there and watch that for a few minutes and see if any air leaks out. Now, right at first, it's going to go down just a little bit because the air that's coming out of your compressor is warm, and it'll cool off and it'll lose, you know, a frickle. But then it should hold solid. But I can go up to 100 pounds of air and just let her sit on there. See, it drops just a frickle when that air is cooling off, and then it'll hang there. Okay, now if you got a leak, now you turn that off. You turn off your air conditioner. You hit the mute on your TV, And first you just try and listen for them. You know, you want to do each one individual. That way it's a lot easier to track down, a lot easier to fix them. But I'd do this on a new plane too. You know, that's better than putting it all together, especially like this jet. To make everything real neat looking, you have to layer it. And I always start with my airlines first. But the bad thing is that they're buried. And if you do run into this situation, you got to strip it. But this airplane only took me about 30 minutes to strip. And see, that's another thing when you're setting these things up. I try and set them up to where I can take them apart and, you know, work on them. Now, I made a couple changes. So I have that cardboard tube in there. I was just ran it to full length and kind of came across right here, but it was starting to look kind of tacky. I didn't like it, so what I did is I made me some little standoffs for that tube. See them right there? And then there's a bulkhead inside there that's that same height that runs all, and then I just glued it in there. And then came up here with that same tube in between them bulkheads. Then came out right there and just kind of taped it to the sides right there. There's my extension cords. I did that on both sides. And my fuel tanks, I really like that setup I had. I'm just going to keep them the same. Put a lot of nose weight in it for taking off, but didn't seem to hurt it. I was making some nice takeoffs down there in Texas. I got John to videotape me once, people, but it came out so bad. All he got was air. And he likes to stand up right behind me, and it's harder if you stand close to the runway. If you notice, I started standing way back. And kind of lost that issue. But that's what you want to do on your airlines, is just do one layer at a time. See, and then this one here is my gear up, which I don't want to do now because the plane will collapse. This one is my gear doors closed. This one's the gear doors open. Just do them individually. Pump them up. Get up to 100 pounds. That's still holding tight. It ain't moved a bit. So it's good to go. Ain't no reason why this air system shouldn't hold air for a long time, a month. Okay, I'm going to tell you something else real quick. Sometimes you get an air leak, you just can't find it. And you just think it's just crazy, it ain't happening. You know, but your air is still going down. What'll happen is sometimes in these landing gear, air will pass through the retract. You know what I mean? It'll go through the air cylinder. So this is my gear up. And this is my gear down. So what you want to do is you want to check for air coming out of here and make sure it ain't bypassing air cylinder through your air cylinder. So just crimp that off. Watch your pressure gauge. And if it is, then you go to each individual retract and do it the same way. Crimp off the clear. If it's still going, go to your next gear and you can find out which one of your O-rings is bad. Like that, without even taking the gear out of the plane. That way you know which one you got to take off and which one you got to fix. But that's my story on airlines and putting her back together. I was going to show you my fuel tanks. But I pretty much got it ready to bolt the nose back on. All I'll have to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bolts are all real easy to get to. Bolt that nose back on and put my trays back in it. But here's mine. I'm going to show you guys these tanks. I'm carrying a bunch of fuel. I actually got an 8-minute flight in down there in Texas. Oh, we're running out of time, but these are my 2 tanks that came with it. And then I added this tank right here. It's 80 ounces. It's out of a V-Lox. My buddy had a V-Lox. And I got the tank from where that fits perfect right up here. That's where that sits. And I actually got an 8-minute flight in and still had fuel when I landed. A little bit. Could have went for 10 probably. But Thanks for watching. We'll see you back.